Today in our first reading we have two very different approaches to people with leprosy. We have the approach of the people of Israel, the king of Israel, and then we have the people of Aram. Here we have the king of Aram, the king of Aram, and the commander Naaman. Naaman has leprosy, but he's the commander of the army of the kingdom. Whereas in Israel, people with leprosy were told to keep away from society, they were considered unclean, and they should not participate in regular activities. Two very different approaches, which is quite interesting. Here we have, though, even in the midst of the situation where people with leprosy were shunned, the people of Aram realised that God was at work in Israel and that there was a prophet who might be able to assist here this Naaman, the army commander who has leprosy. And they come to the king of Israel and we're told the king of Israel then tears his garments, perhaps because he was in the presence of someone with leprosy, to sort of make himself clean again. And here we have this beautiful story of a very simple task really being required of Naaman to go and bathe and be washed. And in being washed, he will be made clean, not just physically, but spiritually, interiorly. All of us are washed. We wash every single day. But at baptism, we were washed clean spiritually. Just probably the last couple of weeks or so, we've put some holy water at the door again, now that things are getting a little bit better around the place, for us to be reminding us again of baptism. Today is the International Day for people with Down syndrome. And there are different approaches to people with disabilities and with Down syndrome in our world. There are some who believe we should make them disappear, that we don't see them, or perhaps we exterminate them because they are unusual humans. This is not the Christian way, but this is the way that many in our world have approached Down syndrome, and it's a great tragedy. And to a certain extent, you could say that's a little bit like the way that Israel approached people with leprosy. We don't want to see you. We don't want to include you. We don't want to have you as part of society. Hide away and be away. Whereas the people of Aram realised people with leprosy should be included. They have great things to offer to their society, and so do people with Down syndrome. I've worked a lot with people with Down syndrome during my ministry as a priest. I've been inspired by them. I've been encouraged by them, and I've seen the way they've been able to contribute and serve community here in Australia and in other parts of the world as well. We shouldn't be looking to distance, to exclude, or to exterminate people with Down syndrome, but to support them, to love them, and to receive their service as well. So let us be a community today on this International Day for people with Down syndrome who will pray for all people with Down syndrome, who will pray for their parents, pray for our community, that we will be a community that will allow people with Down syndrome to thrive and to contribute courageously within our world today.